So why do families look at independent schools? The gap between the public and the private has grown even bigger, unfortunately. You're dealing with class sizes that go from 25 to 10 or 11 or 12 kids. When I was teaching English and I had 11 kids in front of me that I coached and I saw during the day or in my clubs, I knew each kid tremendously. It wasn't just twice as effective because the class sizes were half this size. It was exponentially better. But in addition to the academics, there's the extracurricular enrichment, there's the character development thanks to the faculty being part of the students' lives. So there's been a big rush to independent schools, and it's become more complicated and more competitive. So knowing the right schools and knowing the process have become much more important factors. Many of the parents we work with are successful in what they do, and they feel a bit powerless with this incredibly complicated independent school admission process and landscape. There are tons of schools, they're changing, they're growing, they change just like students do, and there's 3 different application platforms, so trying to understand all that can be quite difficult. Parents often come and say to us, how do we get our children into the best school possible? And we challenge that by saying selectivity is one of many different criteria. Certainly some children need to go to the most fast-paced, intense, and perhaps selective schools and thrive. But having done this for decades collectively, we know that the big fish is the one that does best. And a healthy, happy student is going to thrive. And for some students, that means maybe having a little more time to do homework, or maybe going to a school that's not quite as sharp elbows. So we look at a whole range of schools. And prestige changes, and it's one of many other criteria. There's the social fit, there's the academic fit, there's the extracurricular fit, and putting those all together is really what we do. We use a very deliberate, careful approach, step by step through our WISE method, and we love the W stage. That's to wonder, what is the ideal Susie Academy or David Academy look like? And we take into account not only courses and sports and music, but what would the teachers be like? Are they giving lectures? Are you sitting around a table and they're asking questions? What are the kids like? Is it single sex? Is it co-ed? Are you wearing a tie or a t-shirt, a skirt or jeans? And once we get that prototypical school, we work from W to I, and we initiate. We start making introductions to our friends in the school admissions offices to suggest that you are a good fit and to say why. Then we work to the S stage of the WISE method, and we schedule. We do practice interviews. We look at the different application deadlines, when you need to maybe take an SSAT by, when the open houses are, all the logistics. And then finally, we get to the execute stage, which is putting your student's profile on the page in the application and streamlining and simplifying through all the different platforms so that, like a mosaic with different pieces of personality, the application captures the personality of the student in the essays and the different questions. And that's our WISE method. So we work extremely closely with the schools 12 months a year. They come to our office, the heads of school, the admissions directors. We go visit their campuses constantly. But I think even more importantly, the 20 of us have all worked in the independent school world for many, many years as teachers and in admissions and college counselors in some cases. So we know the culture of the schools, and we've developed relationships with these schools over a long period so that we are able to recommend a student for a certain academy or school. They trust us. They know we're not trying to get the kid in, but that we see a really good match with the family, the parents, the students, the strengths, maybe the weaknesses, the needs that a child has in terms of learning support, or maybe an athletic talent or a musical talent. There's a trust. So we're constantly communicating with our colleagues in admissions offices. One reason that a family would ask for help in finding the right school for their child is we're a little bit like an insurance policy, in that given the cost of tuition for 2, 3, 4, or even more years, we want to ensure that the family makes the right investment, and that involves a really careful and deliberate search process. So if you're interested in discovering more about the current landscape of independent schools, the nuances of each different school, whether you have a pre-kindergartner or an elementary school or a high schooler or even a postgraduate, that extra year. We do day and boarding schools. We'd love to talk to you to find out about your goals for your child, explain the landscape and the process, and so you can certainly fill out an inquiry form and let us know.